Hey, man. Let's see. Copy. Copy. Hello, thank you. Come again. Copy link address. Oh, this is supposed to be 99. Toxic Thoughts 99, not 98. But it's all right. That's all right. It's right on the picture. I'll fix it later. In fact, I'll fix it now because it's going to annoy me. So there. Bong, chiggy, bong, bong. What up, everybody? What up, what up? Give me a second. I am just getting things together. I'm going to post in the Discord. Jano. I know it's been a while. It's been a long time. Time should have left you without some dope. Step two, step two, step two, step two. To run away. The next day. What about the next day? Hey. Vicky. That's you off so again. What up? Give everybody a minute to get up and yaw if they decide to come up and yaw. Hope everyone is well, safe, blessed this week of the loss of our republic. Yes, man. 3 a.m. type things. I posted in the Discord. Yeah. All right. Give everybody a moment, man. I'm going to give everybody a moment to come up in here, man. Oh, man. This is crazy, man. It's crazy out in these streets, bruh. Crazy. But I'm going to give some folks a little bit more time, and then I'm going to get started, because, you know, we already like in 2 minutes of this thing already. I'm trying to get started. Hope everybody is doing well, man. My name is J Tragic Jeffrey. And this is my toxic thoughts where I dump my brain on the internet, hoping that whatever I see, you can also see, and maybe, just maybe, it will help you get through some things as we go through this recession. The title, Deeper and Deeper, actually is a song that one of my homeboys, GBC, did back in the days. We did one of their albums, and one of the songs on there was dope. It was called Deeper, man, and it was one of the hardest songs. Like when I was in jail, I was thinking about that song. Like I was like, oh, I want to mix and master that song. That song's gonna be dope. Sure enough, it came out dope. But today we're gonna take a deep look at this economy. Because it is trash. I know you see the stock market. I know you saw it the last couple of days. I have been so busy. I haven't had any time to really do much as far as, you know, doing these videos. Plus I was redoing my office actually. So I could spend more time in development, but doing it in such a way where it isn't so taxing on my body. You know, as you get older, man, getting old sucks. Let me put that out there. Getting old sucks. So like for years, I spent mad years as a designer sitting in the most uncomfortable chairs or sitting at the desk in the most uncomfortable way. And it messes with your posture, and over time it messes with your back. You know, so as you get older, you just can't do the things you used to do. Shucks. Don't get old. or get old. It's all good. All right. So today, since I've been buried in development, um, especially since I'm doing this for Dolo, as far as making sure at least the preliminary prototype is set up. But there's a lot of things that go into that. I'm going to talk about that a lot at the end, so that you can understand some of the growing pains as you migrate from one business model to another. Some of the ones I've come up with over the last few weeks, especially because it's frustrating. It's frustrating for my girl, like, because she sees me making these pivots, but she thinks it isn't all leading to the same place, right? And that it's to be seen. A lot of people will think that, but my thing is that if I see a problem, it bothers me. If I know like a train is like, if I can see a train in the distance and I'm like, that train's gonna be a problem, rather than standing on the tracks, I might just at the next switching rail, switch off the tracks and say, you know what, I'm gonna let that train pass by. Doesn't mean I'm not going to go back on those tracks. I'm just not going to go on a head-on collision, right? And a lot of the problems in the world is based off of, hey, we're transitioning from one business model, the everybody needs to go into an office model, and I need human labor model, to, all right, well, you're not going to have that. Everybody's currently just doing their own thing. A lot of independent businesses, a lot of independent contractors. So you're going to see a change in the transition for how we all just do things, right? And that takes precedent over what your ideals are for your business. Like, I could want my business to be one way, like my fiance is a chef, and she may have wanted to be able to do her business a specific type of way and work with clientele for their events, as a catering company, but she had to pivot during this whole recession or lose her business, like a lot of other culinary people have had to do. Right? You have to make some fundamental choices in life. Mine came in 2016 or 2015, when I had a crisis of faith as far as my professional titles were concerned, because I was a web developer. And in 2015, I was telling my girl right around Christmas time, I was like, yo, babe, I don't think anybody needs web developers anymore. I mean, yeah, but not at the point where they're going to pay me the 60 to 65 or 70 that I wanted to go to. So like, if you can't see like in 5 more years, I can ask for 100K, or I got to change my title again. Well, what do I change my title to? I'm either managing a bunch of developers, which can be cool, but that's a headache, or you've got to kind of figure out a new thing. And that's when I pivoted to marketing, because I was like, well, I think businesses are all going to get screwed in the shuffle. And while everybody's trying to, be an entrepreneur, none of them are going to concentrate on marketing. And now you're going to have an oversaturation of entrepreneurship or businesses that are going to need to get marketing to survive, especially if we pivot into some crazy recession type beats, or let's just say a slowdown, economic slowdown, right? I wasn't looking at recession. I was looking at economic slowdown. This is before, of course, I even knew anything about the economy or what the economy was doing at the time. So what we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk about a lot of the changes that are going down, a lot of this overall arching of the collapse of productivity, right? And if you have a lack of productivity, as far as you're not manufacturing anything, we stopped that years ago. We offshored everything. So we've gone from globalization to now you're looking at deglobalization, because we're dealing with everybody basically saying, I'm not going to be able to send my stuff to you because I can't afford to have it leave my country. I have to take care of my citizenship, because if not, I'm not going to be sitting in this position of power much longer. So I'm going to have to look out for that first. And what you're looking at is you're seeing a global pull inwards. Every country has to look inwards for a little while to kind of figure out what do they do. And that's no different than us. If you think of ourselves, personal businesses, as little countries, because you're earning an economy for yourself, right? So if you're a little country, your little country's or business is no different than your big one. The problem is that we have a bunch of idiots running this corporation called the United States in all caps, and they have no real business sense. They're all debate club, right? I keep bringing this back to high school. which is if you go back to assembly, all the people you watch at the Grammys and the Oscars, that's assembly. And those are all the people that were getting awards or you went to watch their shows and all that ish, right? And so those are the people that's there. You got the football players who became the football, became the football players you see on the TV. And then you've got debate club that ends up going to be politicians and lawyers, or lawyers then becoming politicians. Right. So this is the issue we're dealing with. We're dealing with a very juvenile economy, juvenile state of being with the people that are running the supposed infrastructure. But there's no freaking infrastructure. They're dumb. And that's the sad shit. It's like, it's real simple. Are we creating something like an economy? Are we generating businesses? Are we able to help people generate businesses? Now, they threw money at a whole bunch of people. Right. And that's what we've been dealing with. Everybody got thrown a whole bunch of cash during this whole Hachu thing. Right. Pikachu. Or Marion Omnicron, Voltron. Right. We've had all these Transformers and all this other ish going on with these Cerveza ish. And now all of a sudden you flooded money, you stopped businesses from doing anything. Those businesses disappeared because they had no way to come back to work and do the things. And then over 2 years, you've just watched 75-year-old, 100-year-old businesses go poof. And they're not coming back. And it doesn't matter what they say, they're not coming back because not only did those people, the people that work there, pivot to other jobs or pivot to other fields or just started doing education all over again to have to re-educate themselves into this new architecture, or they became entrepreneurs and they had funding and they were getting these loans as quote unquote businesses. And those are things are coming to roost because again, debt is debt. And our fiat economy is based off debt. It's not based off of cash flow. It's based off of magic money. Poof, it just comes out of nowhere. Right. So one of the things I'm going to show y'all today is basically how segments of the industry are collapsing, which we always talk about in the Discord. But I want to put it in a perspective where we don't just look at the negative angles, because of course, the hype-nitis you get from all the bullshit, bastardized news we've got, all they do is pump fear. And they need to pump fear because they need to be able to switch your vibration. Because you can't think clear if you're just in a worried state of mind. And what we need to do now is change our mind states and begin to flip that back on itself, because we have to look internally and start figuring out and factoring out how do we ride out our businesses throughout these multiple series of collapses that are happening. And then in all these collapses, where are there opportunities for you to be able to get into some sort of earning potential? Because at this point, I told y'all, it's day-to-day earnings. It's concentrating, lowballing, and getting back to how am I earning this month, rather than here's my job and it generates this. No, you might get laid off, or your job might not be able to keep up with inflation. I learned that fast in New York. My job wasn't keeping up with inflation. I moved. How is that different than anybody else? I did it in 2014 or 2013. I broke out in 2013. Like, I'm out. Well, now look at everybody else, right? Everybody's doing through the same thing, but they're just behind the 8 ball. So we have to now make these decisions in real time. So one of the first things we're going to talk about is the real estate market, fall down, go boom. So let's deal with what's going on in real estate. First things first, you have a glut. We had a shortage of supply. There's no real shortage of supply. There really isn't. We have a lot of real estate that's been sitting stagnant to be able to support the Airbnb movements, all these rental movements, debt on top of debt, people going into real estate, flipping this, doing the whole same thing from 2005, 2006, before 2007, 2008 GFC, Great Financial Crisis. Same-ish, right? So I may sound like a freaking repetitive record, but if the landscape doesn't change, how is my business model going to change? It's really not. What I do is what these videos are here to do is to kind of solidify the fact that I want to keep reminding you. I want to keep poking the bear and say, hey, You know, the economy hasn't changed, right? Since the last time I told you, like a couple weeks ago, right? Remember last month, or I was telling you, remember 6 months ago when I was telling you, remember a year ago when I was telling you that this economy is trash? Well, it's come to roost. Now let's look at the layoffs, right? Real estate layoffs. The first thing we got to look at is the fact that they're like, especially in specific segments of the market, the industry is losing jobs left and right. Hold on, my damn headphones are stuck on my chair. There we go. Right? So we're losing jobs left and right in the real estate market. And a lot of new purchases are a wrap because people right now are lowering their bid offers, or they're lowering what their the price of their real estate. And there's so far no takers. Why? As the interest rates keep going up, which they will, especially after the last job numbers, bet money come the week of the 28th or whatever it is, when it's time for the Fed to make a decision as to whether or not they're going to raise interest rates. Or is it going to be 75 basis points, or is it going to be 50 basis points? We don't know. But right now it's leading closer to 75 basis points, right? Especially with the economic numbers. I think it was like 300,000 jobs that came in, but they're not in certain segments of the market. And one of those segments that are in a pullback is that because interest rates are higher, the amount of people actually looking to try to do this at this quote unquote top of the market, like as this starts coming down, everything starts coming down. There's no more money in the market because there's no more money in our bank accounts, which I've showed you before. The economics numbers prove that we are below where we need to be in our pockets as of what? Before I think the great financial crisis, we're way below that. And as those numbers keep getting worse, we're stuck, right? So as long as there's no money in our bank accounts, there's no way we can push this market back up. The market went up because a direct infusion of capital inflated our money supply. That's inflation. The inflation, or the increasing of the money supply. Inflation is a monetary phenomena. It is because we are inflating or increasing the amount of dollars in the system. Those dollars run to things pushing up prices. Plain and simple. But we don't want to deal with that crap. We don't want to deal with the fact that from day jump one, we are stuck in an economy that cannot go back up until somebody puts money back in people's pockets. Because who's going to buy? Hedge funds need retail. Retail is out. And it's not done yet. And I'm going to show you in a bit why it's not done yet. But we have here a retail market down. A real estate market down. Let's deal with retail. Our retail market is also retail health booming. Hey, RTP, what's going on, fam? So our retail market, we've got a glut, right? I don't know if you've seen it, but go into the stores and see how much shit is on sale. It's crazy. Because all that stuff that they ordered and kept ordering during when all the things were kind of pushed back, right? When all the ports and everything, remember when I showed y'all the pictures last summer where all the ports were all flooded? And I was like, yo, that stuff's going to be, by the time it comes next year, we're going to be flooded. Y'all, we've got what? Summer? Right before July, they got to start bringing stuff in, right? Because we're going to have back to school sales. Back to school sales, that's September, October. Then October, November, you've got Black Friday. That's electronic sales, right? So all of that stuff was already pre-ordered. Remember, they got to order months in advance. So they were making these orders still January, February to make sure those things came in while everybody was still talking about, they were still on super cap. Hey, we still got money. Hey, everybody's still okay. Hey, that was before like crazy cracks started hitting in of course, crypto winter started. The minute crypto winter started pulling everything down, as we talk about, hey, crypto winter sucks, and it starts taking things down. But they did something wrong, y'all. They did something wrong. They put Bitcoin on the market. The minute you put Bitcoin on the market, Bitcoin's now affecting the market. So if there's a seasons of Bitcoin like I've showed you in the charts, what is it going to do to anything attached to Bitcoin during every single one of those dips? And let's pull that up so y'all can see what I'm talking about. Give me a second. Let me crypto plunder. Let me pull up those numbers, the stock data. There we go. Put up my shout out to Maverick of Wall Street for this image. I keep this as a reminder to remind ourselves of who was feeding the monetary cocaine to our entire economy. Was this dude right here, flooding the world with the coca or monetary policy. So let's go to seasons in Bitcoin currently right there, right? Started adding some new things to my chart. I need to go to the weekly. There we go. There we go. Thank you. Come again. There we are. All right. So check this out. So here's the hype-nitis. As I've told you, we've got these seasonal dips, right? And I told you this, like, I'm waiting this week right here, which is in 2 more weeks, right? So we got this week we're in, this week right here, this week right here. This week right here is yet another dip. Did it dip? Did it dip? Dip. I don't plan these things. Hey, we'll go back to last summer when we were all here last summer. What did I show y'all last summer? I showed you there's dips. Did he dip? Did he dip? Dip, dip. So after the 4th of July, typically next week, we go through a cyclical dip. That's just how it happens. Sucks, hate it, doesn't matter. But typically then we would have a run up right before our November dip. But since we're on the back half of a halvening cycle, right? So next one is until 2024. Since we're on the back half of that, there's no more cash for crypto because there's fear in the market by this time, right? And since there's fear and since people keep, oh, it's going to pump back up. No, it's not. There's something cyclical about robots that trade by themselves. Period. Like me, like right now. Even though I told y'all, for the most part, I've been out of the market. And for the most part, I'm out, except for my trading robots that have been running on the back end, making guap through this entire shit. I told you I was going with my Bitcoin shorts. I've been playing with these shorts, pause, and they've been doing my thing. They've been doing the thing. I'll even show you. Hold on. Let's go. Because, I got transparency on my side. Bang. So you can see right here how much this one made. That was the last runner. 90.15%. That ran for 2 months, y'all. Am I beating inflation with those numbers? What is the goal? What do we always talk about? The goal is, look, if they're telling us it's this much percent and we go to Shadow Stats and shadowstats.com is telling us that inflation is closer to 17%, APY, or basically every year, year over year, since it's 19% year over year, it means I have to at least be doing 19 in the year on something of my assets. Okay, money market. I'm going to be a market maker. And in there, I can take a position of my cash flow, and that's going to be the royalties that I generate, which is what this is going to end up being. And I'm going to put it in and I'm going to trade on it. Now, this is not the market, y'all. For you, I'm going to tell you don't do this. Even though you see me doing this, you see I have an active robot. You also see my robot's out of range. And I can show you what that looks like on a chart. I started the robot back here, and we've fallen out of the range that I'm willing to trade on. Now, I've sniped a couple shares privately on the back end. I did a snipe trade on the back end, but I have to wait for this to come back up, which I'll wait. I'm not going to turn this off and turn it back on to try to buy down on this and try to ride it back up. I don't need that. I think it's going to break down because of what we saw on the charts. I think it's going to come back down to me. So I'll leave my robots running. But there is something cyclical already running in the background. And if we go back to the original seasons of Bitcoin so that you can see all the way back here, you can see the colors just stay the same. The patterns stay the same. They've run all the way back since it's been on Coinbase back in 2015. Ain't nothing, no cap in my rap. I just show you what the numbers show. I just show you where things are. And if they fall there, I say there's a potential because in the past, for some reason, this thing that has had robots trading it since like forever, unlike the stock market where only the big corporations have their robots trading, this market already has robots trading for on our level at a price point we can afford. So if that means that just means that multiple people can now trade this shit at this level, and you don't think that their robots are programmed to just in case you see these things happen, boom, get out, and then all of a sudden, boom, you have buy low, sell high, right? So these people, their robots are just going to trade in and just run, and they just set it and forget it and kind of leave it. And over time, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy that these things will keep doing what they do because the robots are on autopilot. So fast forward with a brand new seasons of Bitcoin on a brand new platform, and I don't have all the dates all the way back. See, I didn't do them all the way back here, which I still got work to do on that. I just ain't got time. But for the future, I already set them up. And you can see it's still following the same patterns. I do a little bit more during the halving cycle and at the tail end of it. And then I'll go back. You'll just see me just doing ones and twosies as we flow through whatever the dip points are. And that's currently where we are. Like we're in this portion now where, this is going to be bad. And as I said, we could end up getting 11,000 or 7,000 Bitcoin. I'm trying to see where, like, as you can see, these dips came to fruition. I put all these up earlier in the year. And I even put some of this new stuff up here. And you can see these, like I put this here. We're going to see whether or not it falls down. But Bitcoin plays the way it plays, and it doesn't matter how we feel about it because it's a bunch of code that has now trading robots running that code, and people who've been in here way longer with their robots that are way better have been doing this thing for a while. So just count that potentially, let's just say over 75%, as you've seen, this thing has had a decent range. The only time it didn't do it was here. And that was the December thing. But that's also during a halving cycle run up. We're at the tail end of that. So what does that mean for the markets? It means the rest of the markets act like donkey nuts. Because the most speculative asset isn't going to get no real investment cash flow. Nobody believes in it. But where can you put your money? Do you know the biggest problem for a lot of people right now is the fact that especially major investors, the ones that I've talked to and major venture capital, because I've been back to talking to some of the venture capital firms. I told y'all a couple of weeks ago, I was like, yo, you go into services and you start working with businesses. And for me, that's venture capital. But venture capital's dried out. Been dried out. But I was falling in 2015, 2016 at my last venture capital job. Or my last, startup job when I was working for a startup company. So you've got to see that this transition sucks. The fact that the market is getting ready potentially to even go down further leads us. Let me go back to my other screen. Hold on. Back to what we're talking about here, right? As the economy, as Bitcoin's doing what it's doing, again, an electronic software code, as that's doing its thing, you have this glut of who's going to buy these video cards, especially with the threat of Ethereum no longer mining and going to proof of stake. So that kind of like takes that out, right? Then who's going to buy the Bitcoin miners when electricity costs you way more than turning on those machines. So you're not. We're also at a whole new place where Bitcoin's way lower than it was at the it touched where it was at the last halving cycle. And it's not supposed to dip lower than that, but we've broken that. And we're going to break down lower because we haven't even hit the November dip. The purple. Hold on, where are you? Where's my perps? Where's the perps? See, this November dip, this November dip is right there. And then let's go back in the past so that you can see November dip right after the halving cycle, right? This is the halving cycle we had in 2020 when it started. And you can see it plays to the upside, but this is after the last halving cycle, which was back here in 2016, right? Runs up. And then you can see the first November after the halving cycle ends, the crypto winter zone right here. Look at November and it falls off a cliff. See, there's still a dip in July. So, and then there's a January dip. So remember, the November dip and the January dips are the major ones. Those are like coup de grace. You're going to get smacked with a sour fish in your face. So that's why I told y'all in December of last year, I was like, yo, I'm out. I'm out of the market. There's just no more gas for this because I knew the January dip was just a few more weeks away. And I was like, yo, when January hits, everybody thinks this market's going to do a tear up. Bitcoin don't play like that after a halving cycle. It just doesn't. And I told y'all last summer, Bitcoin don't play like that. It doesn't matter what nobody in the news tells you. I told you last June, it don't matter what nobody says. End of November, first week of December, I'm out. I even stayed an extra week. And then I got out and I was like, yo, it's done. So I'm telling all of you right now, if you think crypto's coming back anytime soon, stop it. There's no cash for it. There's no interest in it. And you can already see the negative news. It gets worse after November. When it drops down again, everybody can see it's a scam. It's a scam. No, it's no different than any tech company, no different than the internet. Pets.com. People don't go back and do their history. Go back to the tech bubble that popped, the .com bubble, and do your history. Study it. Just like I studied the Great Depression. There's a reason why I'm acting the way I act. There's a reason why I talk to y'all the way I talk, because it wasn't the .com bubble. That was my holy shit moment because I saw tech stocks blow up and I was in the middle of the growth of tech. I came in after my staff sergeant told me buy Microsoft at $5 a share, and I did. Because I didn't see that any place in the world could become a business by having a computer and an internet. You could turn any building into a tax write-off. Are you serious? Do you know how different that is? You didn't have to go down to, say, quote unquote, Manhattan, buy a freaking storefront and have to do all this rigmarole and jumping through hoops just to write off a piece of property to be able to do your business in. Are you serious? I could take the same house I had and write off a room. Come on, man. This game done changed, but the business models never did. So what are we dealing with? We're dealing with a retail glut where we have way too much supply. They way over ordered, and now it's all coming to roost. So get ready for your sales, y'all. Y'all gonna have some amazing sales in electronics come November. I'm not even buying a TV till then. Like me and my girl want a big ass screen TV, and I told her, like, hold off, mama. We gonna get a good one. Right. And now watch some of these stocks, especially watch Kathy. I'm actually thinking about shorting Kathy Wood's ARK Invest with the ETF version, the S ARK. I can show you what that looks like over here. Let me go back to my S&P index. Boom, 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 boom. Sell signal. All right, so here, underneath here, you see I have the bond market here. I'm starting to look at the bonds. And then I've got the SQQ, the inverse ETFs. That's the inverse of the S&P 500. Inverse means the opposite side of the trade. Here's the inverse of the Russell 2000 and the inverse of something else. I forgot what these two are. I think they're also off the SQQ. It could be still the inverse of the other trade. But look, SARK is ARK Invest. So you see ARK is $46. When ARK goes down, this is supposed to go up. But it might not be enough cash flow in general as far as liquidity. But you got to look at that for yourself. You got to look at how there is money to be made in any market. Right? So my shorts on the market, I went ahead and I bought the SQQ and the TZA. I have to show you, I have to show a screenshot of that. I showed screenshots before. I have not moved out of these trades. So for me, I bought these way back in here. I bought them at the $30 mark. Hold on, let me find my thing. Hold up. Because that's not looking right. Boom. Give me a second. Let me pull this over here. So I'll actually just show it. Show it. FI. Give me your moment. I'm actually taking a live screenshot of my other account. Give me a second. But I can't do it live. I can't do it live. Why is this not logging in? Hello? Let me give it a moment. It's laggy. I guess because I'm also live streaming. So it might slow me down. Hold on, make sure I'm not messing up my stream. How's my stream look? Show me the screens. Where is... So far, we're looking good. All right. Come on, man. There we go. Sorry, y'all. Give me a second. I'm just getting my account open. And get my positions. And let me take a screenshot. Oops, of this position. It's my private account. And then let me take a screenshot here. Give me a second. And then I just got to blur my account numbers and we'll be good to go. Screen it. Blur. Where's the blur? And blur out the account number here. Boom. The account number here. Boom. Thank you. Come again. And total numbers. Because I don't want y'all to see total costs like current value. All right, those two should be fine. All right, there we go. And I can now bring this over here. All right, so as you can see, this is a screenshot I just did. And you can see, since we've been in the market, my SQQ is still there. I bought it at this basis. Oh, sorry. 31 and 33.72 on my Russell 2000. And currently, total 69% up. Oh, excuse me, 59% up on here, 24% here. So we've been doing well in the market, shorting the market, just again, proving the point that it doesn't matter where the market goes. If the market goes down, you can still make money in a market going down, right? There's always an opposite trade happening. So if you see there's a flood going into the market and we're about to have a run up and everything seems to be great, then boom, you have a way to make that money. If the market goes to the opposite side and you're on the opposite side of the trade, whereas there's a chance that the market's going to go down because especially macroeconomic factors where, hey, we have no more stimmies for Timmy, so there's no more way that Timmy can put money into the market to prop it the hell on up, right? Retail. That's what they say. We are retail. So if there's no more money in there, you have to take the inverse of that or the other side of the trade. If I believed, which I believed since January, and I told y'all that I believed the market was going to go down, I said, you know what? Market's going down. I'm out. So I'm going to short it. And I put my money where my mouth is. And I left it alone because nothing has changed in the macroeconomic factor of our economy. Nothing's changed. So gotta love spam. All right. So what we're going to do is let's talk about our next topic. Right. Close this out because we don't need to go back to the stock market. Next thing we've got to look at, like I said, supply. Where I know that as far as what I'm going to be doing come November, December of this year, as I told y'all, it's important for my company to be in media, on the media side of the business. So it's going to be the video side of business, the music side, of course, but having music with no music video or something that you can do, that it's visibly appealing is pretty much going to be out the window, right? So especially as I do like more music production to get into royalties and also more my album, beginning the process of doing my album come after I got some things I got to do this summer, but once I get done this summer, come fall, I'm going to be all in on my album. I already slated out some recording time for it. So with that, I'm going to have to build out a PC that's going to be necessary for doing and generating not only just my production, but my video. I've just realized that trying to do my production at the scale I want on a laptop is like, it's hard as hell to do. But I'm going to try to do as much as I can. I've run out of space. So I bought a new hard drive to put in my laptop. So a lot of the reasons why I haven't been you haven't seen the production side and I haven't gotten a lot of the things I wanted to accomplish is because my gaming laptop can't keep up with the amount of like things that I want to do. It just can't keep up. So I had to buy new memory and install that on my laptop. Then I had to buy another SSD hard drive for my laptop. I got to install that in there. So I got another 2 terabytes worth of hard drive space so I can now stick all the plugins and the stuff I bought from MG and all that into one big dump folder. And I can clean off a lot of the stuff that's on my main hard drive. And I can kind of separate that because I didn't do that. So I need to start treating kind of how you have my graphic laptop, my graphic computer, and start separating where certain files are so that I can reduce it all being on one drive, separate your drives. Especially with rendering, you should have 2 drives. So I'm going to start separating everything out. But what you're going to start seeing come, like I said, end of summer, you're going to start seeing a lot of electronics and a lot of the things that you may need come down. So I wouldn't jump on anything you see right now, even if you have the disposable cash flow, and make sure any purchases you're doing on electronics, please be sure that you're doing it for business reasons because you can write it the hell off. So everything that I'm buying out now are going to be tax write-offs next year. Especially since I'm buying them for the explicit purpose to grow my media company or to grow my music business as a personal artist, right? So I'm be getting my video cards. They're going to be cheap RTX cards coming out. But with the stuff that I'm doing in AI right now, like this whole scene in the background, y'all, is AI. I put it on a t-shirt and I showed y'all in the Discord. Hold on. Where is it in the Discord? I can't show what the shirt actually says right now because, again, we're getting ready to roll out an entire product and I can't put that out because I don't want nobody biting it before it comes out. But Here's one of the shots of the back image. Again, you see that this image, this image is here. What I've had to do is blow up the image in another program I have, another AI, which I put a link to in the Discord, for Topaz Labs. And then I use their Topaz AI, Giga AI, to increase the size of the render that I get. Because I found out that when you're using the render engine, when you first buy it, they have something called fast render. And you're basically by default on fast render. But that fast render, especially if you buy a year plan, you want to get like 200 minutes of render time. And then that's to blow it up to the largest sizes. And I was doing that ish without even thinking about it, thinking that every month it would just recoup itself. Come to find out it's once a freaking year. And I was like, yo, that's some bullshit. But I was like, all right, it's fine. I got something for that ass. So what I did was I was like, fine, since y'all playing that game, I'm going to use whatever your max size I can do. And then once I get that max size that I can do with your regular thing, I'm going to bring it into my gigapixel AI render, and I'm going to size that the hell on up, which is exactly what I did. Did I say how I did it? And I've gotten some good results too, as far as the AI. This is a Moorish. I asked for what did I ask for? Moorish palace at night by an oasis full moon. And that's what the AI built out. Like the design that this thing can do, and like this, basically like an Egyptian temple and the shining where the water's running through the hallway. So basically it rebuilt the shining water hallway scene and did it with Egyptian. Like crazy. Like the things you can design in here. And supposedly, and I have to they don't save their freaking the calls they have. Like every Wednesday, the group has the Discord has like the audio chat, and they don't record it, so you can't go back and listen to any of the features or things that they're doing. So you miss it, you snooze, you lose. So basically, if you're not in that thing and listening for 2 to 3 hours to hear what they may be doing, you have no insight as to what's going on. One of the things I did hear, and I'll have to see whether or not in the next Discord I can get that to ask the question, was whether or not, I believe they said that these 3D objects, these objects will actually be 3D, and that you'll be able to get the 3D object. And that would be sick for like being able to do what I showed y'all with music videos. Sick. But right now, I'm using it for some crazy stuff, for like t-shirts and stuff like that, anime style. So like the fact that I'm able to like generate whatever I want in a style of whatever I want, sick, sick, sick. So again, the reason why I'm looking at electronics is at the end of the year, for the things I want to render, for me being able to do like my music videos and have motion capture and all that other stuff, I'm just going to build a machine that can handle it. And I'll be able to show you what the parts are and how I'm building it out. Because again, building computers is like putting together Lego blocks. All right, so next thing is the layoffs. Automated trucks. We have a trucking shortage, correct? As far as truck drivers. Well, they're fixing that. They've already greenlit that there's going to be trucks that this company here has approval to start doing coast to coast trucking. And there's multiple companies getting into this forefront. So again, if people thinking that their CDLs are going to keep them, and even so, right now, the CDL doesn't help because again, you got gas situation, right? So unless you've pivoted over to an electric trucking firm, which are also taxing everybody on these carbon credits, like right now, they are crushing businesses with their Green New Deal, which is in the future, pretty much all food is going to have what their carbon credits are. And this is pretty much part of that plan that, you know, everybody talks about, this something order, a new something order. You know what I'm talking about. And in there's a rush to be able to throw carbon credits on everybody and everything, starting with the entities that are called corporations. And these corporations are going to have to get green credits. If not, they're going to be taxing these businesses hard or basically telling them to get out of business. And they are. And that's hurting even more of our food supply. Like there's the Dutch are already going through a picketing over how their food, like basically they're being told, yeah, you don't farm. Same thing is going on in California. Don't farm because of water. All right, well, how about you turn off all the water that's going on in Las Vegas? Oh, no? Okay. So I have to stop what I'm doing, trying to feed people, but you can go out here and just still have them gamble and having water parks and all that type things. Okay. So you've got to see the extermination of our jobs starts with the automation of everything, right? Everything is automating out of existence. So with the truck drivers, with forklift drivers, you've already seen what's happening in the supermarkets, the way that we stock shelves, the way we even order food and get deliveries at home is all changing. Soon, nobody's want to go out. Well, we already don't. And they're conditioning more and more people to accept that reality, which is kind of bullshit, but it is what it is. So why does that even matter? Because the corporations that run the trucking firms may have had bad debt. And if these firms had debt, that debt is on a market somewhere. And if that debt can't be fulfilled because they went bankrupt, then the derivatives that underlie the debt for those businesses will fail, making the ratings for those companies fail, meaning that the Moody's will sit there and downgrade these assets, which will cause the market to yet again implode come the end of this year. But nobody wants to talk about that shit. No. We okay. I promise you. Get the fuck out of here. Come on, man. So why am I have this screen up? Again, I'm not even going too far today. I don't have to open up a bunch of articles. I want you to see that the amount of ish we're dealing with encapsulates everything. Banking layoffs. Banks are getting rid of their people in their real estate side and their home lending side, on their higher investment side. Everything in the banks is boom, bust. Especially in the mortgage side. And who's lending? They didn't want to lend to us after the 2000. We bailed everybody out, right? After the GFC, Great Financial Crisis, 2007, 2008, we bailed out all the banks. And now, the loans came in, yes. And people are like, oh, they forget. Everybody forgets PPP. We forget how many businesses came out on these streets talking about, hey, I'm a company. Hey, I got to pay for my employees. How much PPP fraud was out there. So while everybody's going to be talking ish, the government didn't help me. They gave you money and you only gave it to people to keep things going. And then some of y'all drove off the lot with some new cars because you didn't have to pay 100% to your employees or to keep your business. So some of these CEOs was driving around in some new whips at higher rates. So now you've got the banks saying, hey, we don't need you no more. Thank you. Come again. Layoffs in general. Let's just deal with the tech layoffs. That's crazy right now. Advertising companies are laying off. Again, see, advertising. I just put layoffs. I didn't ask what layoffs. I just put layoffs. And I told you media was automating. What have I been focused on for the last few years? How do I automate media? What did I show you? How you automate using N8N. How N8N controls its APIs. I told you data is the new oil. Everybody has an API. And how you talk to those APIs with your data is all that effing matters. If you're an artist, right? The label's supposed to do what? Get you out, push you forward, get you onto your social media profiles. Well, you're just going to have to program your own life at this point. And what I've been doing is setting up myself to be able to, one, have a place where I store my data, two, have a place to interact with people that I can get work done. And it's just not on me when I'm mixing and mastering, and then a way for me to pay people based off of, hey, these royalties came in transparently and I can just, or here, I'm putting some money towards the budget of my thing from over here, what I'm doing. So this is how I can pay people to do the things that I need, and y'all get paid from that. And if you get over $600, I got to do 1099. I ain't trying to get in trouble with the government. How do I do that? What things do I set up with? How do I interhook with these APIs to be able to do that in such a way where it's transparent? And if I have an accountant or accounting software that comes through and does all this for me, then I'm compliant as a business and I can write ish off. I need a corporation. You can do it as your all caps. You know, your straw man is a corporate entity. It's all caps on your birth certificate, right? So that means you can write off companies underneath your own social security number if you're starting a business. You can do that. I would use TurboTax Home and Business, and they can help you set up. That's what I did. Hey, I don't know how to do all this stuff, home and business. Okay. And it walked me through how to set up all my stuff for a business and how to get all my write-offs. And I could just take plain deductible. Like, hey, the reason why there is a lobby that Intuit has and H&R Block have a lobby to make sure their softwares are how everything goes down, and their lobby made sure of that, was that they were going to give you the best deal, period, as far as what your taxes are, and help you write them off. Basically, you can just take the default and you'll make way more money than trying to itemize it. I tried to itemize it and I actually got audited. And then I was like, the next following year, blip, I just took whatever it told me, and I never had another problem with them. I was making plenty money. And as I was working for Canon at the time when I was doing this. So this is a thing that I did while I was working, and the businesses that I was creating, the start of Toxic Hustle and all the software and my home and everything that I was doing, my office and the software I bought and the licenses and my subscriptions all went on my personal tax, reducing my tax obligations from my job. Come on, y'all. I told you it's a Toxic Hustle. The end of the day, you have to tell the government why they shouldn't take all that money out of your tax. And if you're not creating no investments or trying to invest in the future or invest as a business, then they don't see you as needing that money. They're going to take it and spend it on bullish, which is their homes and their cars and their drivers and their security details. You know, these people live in these big ass homes that we'll never see, 4, 5, 6 rooms with people that have to clean that. Like, we pay taxes on that shit. These people haven't cut back. And we in a recession? I don't care what they say. We in a recession, y'all. What do they say? 2 quarters of negative GDP growth. What did the Atlanta Fed say? The Atlanta Fed just said that, hold on, ATL Fed. And go right to the news. Atlanta Fed. Boom, second quarter. And this one is what the ones that everybody kind of like, all the economists kind of keep an eye on because it's been kind of right. The New York, I think, also came up and said that it was negative. So we're already in a recession. There's no recession fears. We already in one. So what does that mean when you're in a recession? Well, that means there is no growth. You're in negative growth. What the hell do we manufacture? What do we manufacture? These jackasses can't do basic economics. Like, this is basic. This is easy money, as MG says. Easy money on this one. The only thing you have to do is create something. Y'all, there's no physical shit we can create. Let's just be real. Unless you're making something locally, like if you're doing something, robots to tend gardens, which I've shown you can do. It's open source. Farm bot, right? Open source farming. So we already have a revolution of being roboticists or engineers. You might need to change your title. You might need to think a little different. And you don't think this all runs on APIs, y'all? You don't think NAN can control this? The same person, the company, Miso Robotics, that made Flippy the robot that's flipping burgers and frying chicken and French fries all over the world right now, They ain't done. They just made a new coffee machine that will limit the amount of coffee is going to need, baristas you're going to need to make a perfect cup of coffee. Miso. There we go. Miso Robotics migrates its Flippy software to Amazon Web Services. What did I tell you where I put some of my servers at? Huh? Hold on. Hold on. Watch this, y'all. Y'all don't get it. Y'all gonna learn today. This is N8N, like Zapier.com. Go to Zapier if you don't know what Zapier is. AWS, Dynamic DB, so database, Comprehend, right? That is their artificial intelligence. Lambda, that is their serverless computing. Rekognition, again, more AI. This is S3, that's your storage. SES is, I think that's email service. NS, that is your notification system. So notices getting triggered on your phone and a trigger. I don't know what SQS is. Textract, I think that's a text extraction. And transcribe, taking audio and turning it to text. So all of this is hooked into N8N. Again, data is the new oil and APIs will rule the world. Every corporation will have an AI. This is why I told y'all about blockchain. I said blockchain tech is dope, but it's an extensive database. Y'all, get rid of the word blockchain and just put decentralized database. Now, if it's a decentralized database, expensive decentralized database, because it's expensive, right? It's $20 for Bitcoin to do a transaction fee, and it's like whatever the redunculous amounts whenever Ethereum gets on some crazy rampant run. You're like your gas fees are like $100 freaking or $500 freaking that can just be lost if you make a mistake. No. This is an expensive database, and it's mad early. See, the reason why blockchain's even necessary is think about it this way. Look at all the hacks that have happened. It's because we have centralized database. There's a single point of failure. If I corrupt your main database and you back up that corruption unbeknownst to you and you put it into your backups, you can go back to your backups. But if your backups have my hack already, I've already destroyed you. And if there's nobody else watching that single point of failure, well, then there is your flaw in your business model. This is a great way to have a place where your database sits and that it's being watched and maintained and monitored, and that you can always pull that data back down and know it's clean. Because if you're sending your transactions in real time, you're just going to query those transactions to your main system rather than going the opposite direction. So what these databases become is our knowledge base. People don't get that. Knowledge base. What does that mean? It means anything that you deal with data. Any data. I could scrape data and make money. I can make a data, like my music, my samples going into what songs, those songs got made, my samples got done into what loops, those loops got put into what songs, those songs got used by whom and who mixed it and mastered it with me, that now when the royalties come in, I can now send transactions to that artist or individual or mixer. And even the automation of graphics, how you make graphics, shortening of links, storage of files, messing around with content management systems, or even websites, like being able to manipulate WordPress. They just make this annoying that you got to hit this thing over and over again. I remember I could just go down here and just see it all. Hold on, y'all. Just got to keep clicking, even though we've got a huge load of shit to see. Just give me all of them. I'm going to have to tell them about this. Like, this is horrible that I got to click 15,000 times to get the same freaking information I could get in 2 clicks. Bang. There we go. That everybody? Yes, that's everybody, finally. So now you can see all the things you have access to. So if you're still on WordPress and you want to use WordPress, there you go. You can still use WordPress, WooCommerce, and you can automate it. If you want to use Webflow, which is not great with e-commerce and they're trying to do some other ish, they're slow with how they're building out their other platform. But if you want to use that, boom, you can use Webflow. If you want to post to Twitter, right? I just saw it. Where's the birdie? There it is. I could post to Twitter. I can post to other content. I can post to Slack. I can use Shopify. All of these things you can do now and control now. PayPal, Notion, other types of databases, grabbing data from NASA, even though they fake as hell. Messing with if you have a client that's doing with Monday and you want to automate some stuff for them to lower their costs for their interactions, you can do that. If they have Microsoft Teams, Microsoft Excel, like all these Microsoft products. MailChimp. I know a lot of companies that are using MailChimp. Being able to do that. Keep is another thing that people are using. HubSpot, another corporate software. Automate Google, Calendar, GitHub. So there's Facebook. So come on, man. Discord, making a Discord bot. So what I'm showing you and why I'm showing you this is that, again, automation of businesses are not just the physical automation that you see, not just the fact that they're doing coffee, not the fact that these robots can be put in the field, not the fact that these robots can be used for farming. All of that stuff is there, but there is an automation, process automation, that is going to destroy the corporate world as we know it. And that's going to lead to even more layoffs as these white collar jobs get destroyed to automation. They're the biggest ones because that micromanagement shit, that's a wrap. These boomers that still want buildings, it's a wrap for that. I write off a building here in my home. So why do I need a whole company? Or why do I have to pay for 3 buildings? That's what the biggest thing nobody gets. Y'all, think about it from the perspective of an owner. Not the perspective of the CEO, but the perspective of the business owner. And even any of the people that are the investors, right? That you have to build a corporate headquarters. That's a building. The CEO has to go to that building to work. He has a house. You got to pay for that. You got to pay him enough money to pay for his home. And then the employees that work underneath him have to go to a job or a business, to that business, right? So now you pay for 3 buildings. Each building has water. You pay for 3 waters. Each building has electricity. You pay for 3 electricities. You pay for 3 wastes. As far as waste management, right? Throwing out the garbage and everything else. You pay for maintenance if a person has to get their grass cut and all this. So you have to pay for their gas going back and forth, their cars going back and forth. So you're paying as an owner for 3 buildings. What sense does that make when we're past the communication age? Like these grungy old fucks don't get. We moved from the, hey, I got labor. Hey, I have this big building I put people in, and we're going to have people work on assembly line, right? Ford, right? And what they did is like, hey, I can't do shit new, so let me go ahead and put Ford's idea in a skyscraper and put it up. So they did. Floor after floor after floor of basically Ford's idea of you take a bunch of people and you do an assembly line and you can get a product out. That bullshit is bullshit. Show us how to do this. You damn right, Sal. Who are we going to show this? Like, okay. Like, so boom. We already did the fact that I showed you. These are all the automations, right? Boom. Miso Robotics. Not Miso, excuse me. FarmBot. FarmBot's open source. Open source. See, right here. And if you look at the images of what FarmBot's doing, I'm telling you right now, the change is we have to, at this point, start thinking differently. Hey, do you think that check it out. Check out my hustle. My hustle is I understand that these bobo head bastards are considered the carbon credit style. Okay, I got you on your carbon crediting. All right. So that means you want me to have electric batteries. That's lithium plays, that's silver play, right? Because you can't, I have to work that shit. So what am I going to do? I'm going to start looking on the market, and I'm going to start looking because I already know that these dumb asses haven't even really planned this properly. We don't pull out enough nickel to be able to be in this freaking battery business, right? And there's right now a few things on the table. You've got hydrogen engines, right? We've got hydrogen, but you need silver for that. So guess what you're going to have to do in the silver market? Right? So we've got hydrogen. Then you've got your batteries, right? So your batteries are going to need nickel and all the stuff that takes. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's do that. So let's say components for an electric battery. I'll show you how we do this, son. Boom. A cathode, an anode, electrolyte, and a separator. Okay. Let's say not components, minerals. Cobalt, nickel, graphite, and manganese. Ask yourself a question. Are these things short? So now let's fast forward, because there was a book called The Richest Man in Babylon. That talks about Moorish culture. Hint, hint, hink. It talks about the Levanta and the desert. Basically like Dune, but a business version of it. In this book, one of the things was the king. There was a story in the book, and this guy had money given to him by his father. This is about the laws of gold, right? Because gold is actually money. It's God's money. But right now, gold's manipulated because they know they need it for the components necessary for their quantum computers. So they really want to get it cheap. Right now, all of this shit's going down. Now, one of the things in the story for this, this guy, he had gotten money from his father and he lost it by basically thinking about, like, he was buying some stones. He bought some stones. Him and a baker were going to went into business together. And first he was in a caravan and he lost some of his money because the person was going to go buy some robes, and then they took off with his cash. Then the next thing was he met a baker, and the baker was going to go to Venetia and buy stones. Well, he wasn't a stone jeweler, and since he went out there and doing something that he didn't know how to do, he wasn't able to pick out the right stones, and he got basically bamboozled. So again, he bought a bunch of worthless rocks. So the guy lost his money. So what he wanted to do is, his father basically said, I'm gonna give you some money, and in a couple of years, you're going to come back home, like 10, 20 years, whatever it is. You're going to come back home. When you come back home, I want to hear, tell me how how you did. And so the story is basically a synopsis of all that. What up, K-Bangers? It's all good. A lot of it is the stuff that we've already talked about. Since I've been gone for a couple of weeks, I wanted to go ahead and just kind of remind people that ain't shit changed out here. Plus, I want you to also see where we're heading to and why I'm doing the things that I'm doing, why I'm thinking the way I'm thinking, right? Especially right now, as this recession finally gets told to the people that we're in one, right? In the next 2 weeks, finally, they're going to say we're in a recession, and that's going to hit the market even harder, especially when it's going to be right around the time the Fed gets ready to announce interest rates of probably 75% basis point hike, and the fact that crypto is getting ready to do the next dip, which comes on in the week of the 18th. It goes into its July dip. So all of this is coalescing at the same time for it to be a very bad time for folks. Between time, that means the commodities are going to take a hit. It means everything gets slapped down. So before everything starts rebounding again, the commodities will rebound first, because these idiots, again, Haven't thought it through. So, like, back to the story, the guy basically said, you know what, I'm going to make this money back, money that I lost doing these two stupid deals, and I'm not going to spend it on anything. So he got himself a good job and he started making money, basically being with the caravan. So now this person is told to invest. He's like, hey, you should invest with me by people that actually knew how to invest. And he's like, well, no, I'm afraid I'm gonna lose my money if I invest again. I won't do. He's like, I'm gonna lose it. He's like, look, check this out, homie. This is what we're gonna do, right? The first thing is you want to make sure that you're investing with people that know how to invest. I'm gonna show you what our plan is. The king is gonna need gold for the new gates, and he hasn't thought about that yet. So what we're going to do is pool our money together and go out here and get this gold cheap from someplace far. Now, worst case scenario, since we already have a jeweler and a gold tender who's going to go out and grab this gold and make sure it's all good. The worst case scenario, if the king doesn't need the gold, we still sell it at a profit. The worst case scenario is that. Like, worst case scenario, if anything else, if the king doesn't need it, we can still sell it locally for a profit. But if the king does need it, we can sell it to him for a premium. Buy low, sell high, but higher because of necessity, right? This book gave me the idea for what I'm thinking about right now. Plus, my friend Omar, shout out to Omar, had told me, don't invest in the electronic company. Like Apple, don't invest in Apple. Find out what's inside the new phone. Find out what parts, minerals are made up of that. And since they're going to have to get a lot of it to spread that device or whatever across the world, that's what you need to buy. Now, what did they just tell us over the last few years? We have this Green New Deal, right? So now we've got this Green New Deal that is really saying, hey, we want to go to electric batteries. So if they're going to need to go to these electric batteries, what are we going to invest in? I'm not worried about Apple. I'm not worried about Tesla. No, Tesla still needs batteries. Toyota still needs batteries. Pontiac needs batteries. Mazda needs batteries. Kia needs batteries. Everybody's going to need these batteries, my niggas. What are they made of? That's what you invest in. What caused the market to get shaken up? Just got shaken up. The lawsuits overseas, right? Short squeeze. Nickel caused a short squeeze because it shot up because they've been manipulating the market. Well, these small ass bastards don't got the cash flow no more to keep manipulating the market because the whole market went down. So margin calls are real. Y'all, these margin calls ain't done. Do you know how much more margin calls are still going to be happening in crypto in a second? Y'all, I told y'all about the November dip last year. And I told y'all about it back in 2017 if you follow about it. I've been showing you that November is a bad time for crypto, but crypto's on the stock market. Guess what's happening in November? You think there's not going to be more margin calls, my niggas? Oh, it's going down in the DMs. We're already in a recession. And what do you have to do when you're in a recession? You've got to hold money. You've got to stop investment in capital and growth, and you've got to go to earning value. You got to prove value. You've got to prove the weight of your stock price now. If you do not make earnings, it don't make sense if your shit is up. What did I tell you last year? I said last year, watch what happens in spring when these companies can't meet earnings. Bang, they got crushed first quarter. Second quarter, can't make earnings. Bang, they got crushed again. What, you think it's over? Didn't they have to lay off more people? Let's just deal with the airline industry. How many flights were canceled? How much was fuel at the time? How many people how many planes actually didn't get into the air to do anything? How many people can't, those cancellations are money, seats, refunds that had to come back. Their hustle was $10,000 to, like, hey, we want you to come flying. So what we're going to do is we're going to throw a $10,000 price tag out if we boot you off a plane, just to try to get people to keep flying through the holiday season. But there's not enough flights because it's not enough pilots. That's going to be automated to drones any damn way in a minute. So what we're dealing with is that there is these companies are caught naked with their pants down at this point. There's so many companies in debt, holding debt, vampire companies, that the interest that they have to pay to keep maintaining that don't make sense, which means they're going to begin to either, because the interest rate is high. Remember, business credit is revolving like your credit card. So any businesses that see a higher interest rate in general are going to see those interest rates go up with how much it costs them to maintain the cost of the loans that they've taken out. As the interest rate goes up, their ability to pay it goes down, especially if the margins of what they're with everything that's been going on are down. And a glut of things, and a glut of services, and a glut of businesses. Everybody's going out. So as all these companies begin to now lay off, what happens with the cars? You know, the ones that everybody bought last year, way too high, they need to cut it. These prices, way too high, they need to cut it. These people got loans, y'all, for like ridiculous amount of months now. Just to be able to pay these higher, like you bought a used car higher than what it was when it was a new car. Are you kidding me? How the hell did that happen? Well, now those people bought them. Well, now they got laid off. Well, now these cars are being repossessed. Repossessions have shot up. These cars, the repossessions, are derivatives on the stock market. What happens when Moody's decides to downgrade the assets underlying any of the derivatives from these companies? Yeah, exactly. We not only have now a car glut, watch car prices drop like a stone come fall. We don't even have enough people that are going to even need a car. Which leads me to the bankers who are all going right now into crypto to get themselves ready for the next halving cycle. Now, I don't know what the next cycle will bring you. I don't know what's going to be there, what's going to be the hype-nitis that comes out. I can tell you what 2016 was. That was the fact that we had DAOs, or decentralized autonomous organizations. That's what Ethereum brought about, right? We could program these codes to be able to maintain a decentralized quote unquote business. They're not ready yet for that. That's fine. So now what do we got? That was the first cycle, right? So then out of that brought all of these decentralized codes and decentralized exchanges. And this next cycle that we just had was the launch of these decentralized codes, decentralized exchanges that you could now do these decentralized things like NFTs, right? Basically contracts that could do specific things. Okay, cool. Now it's tied to graphics, which is dumb in itself. That the only thing you were buying was a freaking graphic you're going to download it, and it didn't do anything else but be a graphic. Again, you had a database with a graphic on it, and the graphic may not even be on the server that you thought it was. So again, a lot of the ideas are there, but there's no business utility yet. It's still early. So what did we have this cycle that'll be for the next cycle? Of course, we have now decentralized gaming, right? Potentially play to earn gaming. That might be in the next cycle. You know, we might have our Grand Theft Auto by the next cycle. Do I think we're going to be putting on headsets and popping chips in our head? I doubt that. I know it'd probably be here in the next 10 years because I think they got the contacts now, right? AR Human tax. Just went into human testing. Yeah. If you don't know, now you know. So get ready, y'all. You think these people are nutso now? What happens when what they see, they think they're playing a video game and they're out in the real world chopping it up and shooting it up? What happens when their eyes and their brains are no longer in the physical realm? What happens when their brains can be manipulated to see whatever the system wants it to see? I know it seems kind of dystopian, but didn't we already see this pre-programmed universe? Minority Report. Just watch what Tom Cruise tells you every time he makes a damn big blockbuster movie that seems dystopian. You know he's part of that whole psi cult. And they're making sure to tell everybody this is what we're getting ready to go down. It's going down in a DM. People can be lost in their own sauce, and you're going to see that. I think the other thing that had that was Black Mirror. I didn't watch the whole seasons of that. I don't have time to really watch TV like that. I'll watch anime when I go to sleep because American cartoons suck. But at this point, y'all, the dystopianism is real. A dude went to a baseball game and he said he couldn't even use cash. And then you've got everybody that talks about, I'm going to run to gold, I'm going to run to silver. Okay, where are you going to store that? How are you going to use it? Are you going to take a brick of gold and go down to the supermarket and say, here, I'm going to give you this whole brick of gold for a piece of bread or a loaf of bread? What is the functional utility? Look, everything has been fiat credits. Again, I know that there's a lot of my Anglo brothers and sisters that are seeing this quote unquote new world order. Please understand that there was an old world order circa 1492 called the Moorish Empire. And out of that, you get your native tribes. And out of that was the old order being run over by the one that came in 1776. The new order. It's the one on the back of your dollar bill that's been there. It ran over the old world. You know, the Dark Ages. You know, the Dark Ages. Just a peek. So we have a comeuppance coming, y'all. All of the bankers have already been in crypto. So as MG already told everybody before last year, that it doesn't matter what system you got into. It doesn't matter if it's Bitcoin. It's not as decentralized as you think it is. But I don't get into it for that. I treat everything like the foreign exchange. When you start doing Forex, you start realizing that everything is a commodity. And they're already telling you Bitcoin's a commodity. So it's no different than wheat, corn, silver, platinum, palladium. It's just a code that does it. And I'm not saying I'm not buying no Bitcoin. I told y'all, I'm not buying Bitcoin until next year. March of next year. I'll be back into really thinking about buying Bitcoin because I think the bottom will be in by then. We still got a ways to fall because this whole system is flooded with so much debt and debt on top of debt. The margin calls are real, y'all. All over Bitcoin, in the crypto market, the margins, you've seen how a lot of these companies, and Bankman-Fried, keep an eye on FTX. Just keep an eye on them because they're buying out everything. He acts like the Fed in crypto. But this is no different than JP Morgan and how JP Morgan bought off all the banks during during the Great Depression. So again, do your history and look at what happened in the Great Depression. Look at what companies survived during that time. That's why here are some of my thoughts, right? On this world-ish that we're dealing with. and how you as a business may need to think about how you make pivots because you are currently in a recession. So if you're in a recession, two negative GDP growth numbers, they'll officially tell us in 2 weeks that, hey, we're officially in a recession. The minute we're in a recession, it means there will be no new businesses. There will be we're out of the growth. We're in value. So when you're in value, it means these businesses must earn. How are you earning? So me as a company, I have to sit there and go, okay, well, how do I make that? How do I make money? I can tell you how I did it in 2007, 2008. I jumped right to services. I jumped right down to a $50 to $25 price point. What can I do for $25? What can I do for $50? If I can get 2 of those a week, I got $100 a week. It may not be a lot to you, but if you go to a grocery store, come on now. I can get a bag of rice, can I? I can get a whole chicken, can I? I can get some veggies in the frozen department, right? Also, where are you shopping? Start shopping at some of the bigger outlets. Start thinking about bulk if you haven't thought about it. Bulk water. Even like I've been cutting back on a lot of meat. I started making my own falafels. So that's chickpeas. So I bought some dried chickpeas. Soak them in some water, throw in some onions and some chickpea flour. What is it? A little bit of what's that thing? Parsley or oregano. And then throw in some of the dill, black pepper, salt, garlic. Throw it up in my food processor. Put a little olive oil in a pot. Fry them up. Throw them in a pita with a little bit of sour cream and cheese. Bang! Right? So it's thinking, or making some rice, or I'll like cook a whole chicken, or do some barbecue with some meat and put stuff away. Like, it's all about being able to cut like the entire 2007, 2008. Like when I wasn't making, I was rice and peas and chicken. Yeah, it's not the greatest thing in the world, and yeah, you might get bored of it, but my damn, man, you're eating. It's calories, man. And it's just getting to the point where you just deal with the calorie intake. And again, $25, man. I'll go out in the street and I'll design a CD cover for $25 if I had to. Mixing and mastering, right? Y'all got all y'all equipment out here, right? You got your FL Studio, whatnot. You can't take their stems and mix it the fuck for them. You can't charge them $25 for that. You know Photoshop? You know a graphic program? You can't make a CD cover? $25. I'll design your CD cover for you. You can't do somebody's music video? You can make a lyric video, right? Get all the lyrics and then copy them a few paragraphs at a time, or a few lines at a time, like maybe 2 or 3 lines at a time, and have them fade in and fade out and make a small video. You can't do that for $50? See what I'm saying? It's about breaking down services that get you to PayPal or Venmo or whatever, right? And then since you got that, you can swipe a card because you got the debit card from whatever that company is, whether it be Cash App, whether it be PayPal, whether it be Shopify, whatever you decide you want to do, you could do that. If you want to make products, you could go on Etsy. I bought some stuff on Etsy for my girl like a couple weeks ago, or actually this week. So there's people that are going to make money from people. And there's people that are going to still be doing work. Or let's say I have an artist that wants to get promotion. I can't now use my promotion that I'm using for myself and be able to say, hey, I'll charge you a monthly subscription for marketing services. And those marketing services are, hey, we'll be able to at least get visibility to your content this way or that way, or come up, we can create memes for you. And And this is how much will maintain your social media empire. It's going to be $75 a month or $100 a month. Right? So let's say if I have a $75 a month marketing media, like I manage your media life for $75 a month, which ain't shit. Outpace everybody. But now what if I had multiple people and I do it in such an automated way, right? I'm not physically doing all the work. What if I have 10 clients I can do? I'm not doing this. I mean, I am, but if I can take data and make content and put it out. So it's all about how do you automate all of these processes? How do you create yourself some type of way to automate it out? And I showed you N8N connects to anything with an API. So you're going to have to learn some API shit. This is the time to start learning something to pivot your career. Again, you can take the things that you learn, turn them into serviceable careers, go to Indeed and put them on your resume. I'm not asking you to go out here and just be hypnitis and think you're going to make money just off them. No, but you can take them, build a gallery, make a website, put those things that you've done on that website as a gallery, and then point your resume to that website. Bong, proof. Now, when the person looks at your job, they look at what you've done and boom. Oh, okay. This person does know what the hell they're doing. And you can get a job. And then you can do what? Take what you're doing on the same way that they found you, your independent work, the same way you've been writing off your subscriptions and all that anyway. But now because you have a job and you're getting a paycheck when you're doing your write-offs, because if you're doing it on your personal taxes and you have your business still on your personal taxes, you can write off what you're making from the company on your taxes, personal, until you want to incorporate. And then you get more tax write-offs. That's what you have to do to survive this crap, is keep as much money in your pocket as possible. As far as, I won't say money. We got to just do credits because we're in a debt-based system. So it's really all about credit. So how many zeros and ones are in your account? And what is your ability to put those zeros and ones continually in your account? No hype, no cap in my rap. So that's my pivot, right? Is to go and look for clients that I can charge $25, $50. It goes right on my PayPal business card, debit card, right? Because you can get a PayPal business card and you can swipe it and you're done. Or you can go to Cash App, or you can go to, any place that got a freaking card that somebody can send you money. Swipe, you eat. Since we want to be in a credit system. And then it's not even relying upon you to have a quote unquote bank account. Because, at this point, when the recession hits, a lot of these companies, these banks, because the money on the books of a bank is a liability to the bank. Because they got to give you interest. Anything that they lose money with is a liability. Anything they earn money with is a asset. And your money in a bank account is a liability to the bank. So they're going to try to get as many of us off of the bank account. Oh, it's going to be $500 and you got to maintain the blah, 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 because, you can't. Nah. Because, when the interest rates go up, they got to pay you that. Well, they're going to try not to, though. According to what I'm hearing, they're trying not to. They don't have to, and they're trying not to. They're just giving the money back to the Fed. So how do we survive the fact that our worldview, my brothers in the UK are seeing it, my brothers in Australia, especially my native brothers in Australia are seeing it. They're seeing it in Sri Lanka. They're seeing it in Brazil. They're seeing it in Mexico. They're seeing it everywhere, in Hawaii. And that is the fact that because businesses can't receive loans and because individuals can't receive loans, no new business can just be grown out of the debt. That's what happens when you have a growth-based market time, right? We're in a segment of our economy where we're in a growth segment, which is, hey, we're just going to be throwing money in. Maybe something's going to be great, but when we start pulling it back in, we're going to see who's going to be come up in these seas naked. And they're going to get basically hammered. And now you're seeing that all these companies are disappearing, which that means nobody's going to be doing any major hiring, major investments. Even Amazon's already said that they're not launching like 12 to 16 new warehouses. What does that mean? They understand that there's a major slowdown. Tech has let go so many people because they understand. Even look at how Zucks was there's some of you that are here that don't need to be here. Like, oh, damn. He wants you out. So everybody's letting everybody know it's a wrap. So how do we survive, right? This thing ain't going to end this year. It's like 2022, 2023 stagflation. Recessionary type beats, right? So what you're going to have to do is what we talked about. It's, again, looking at who you can service. I can go down the street to my neighborhood drug dealer, as far as the weed man, who's probably a rapper. And I can say, give me, yo, you rap? Yo, put it on here's a zip disk. Put your song on this zip disk and give it back to me. Give me the MP3 of this. Let me show you what I can do. Let me master that for you and make it free. Bang. I give it back to him. Yo, that thing is dope. Okay. Next one, $25. Okay. He only has to do a couple of deals to do that. I'm not saying that's what you do. I'm just saying that's what you could do. And now these new quote unquote drug dealers are really the guys that work at these dispensaries. So I've pitched into zones, Colorado. Now you can go to Jersey. You got California. Wherever they legalized it, you can target ads in those zones to those people who might be at those dispensaries who might so happen to be rappers. They would be following specific MCs or producers. So I will be looking for anybody in these areas who might be somewhere near a dispensary, zip code type beats, and target those. Well, that's Google right there, right? That's Facebook right there. I'm not saying I'm going to hit 1,000, 1,000. I'm going to hit every single time, but at least if I blanket an area, who knows who I can find, right? And then I point them to a page, and then they see what can be done. And then if they're willing to do it, they can contact, and then bang. Or I can make it very free flowing. Upload your MP3, and we'll give you a pseudo mix. And I just run it through my automation suites. Surviving stagflation is increasing your workflow. You have to be more productive than everybody else. So, what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about the tools that are going to begin to give you an edge over every fucking buddy this year. Let's go. I saved this one for last. So, number one, let's talk about artificial intelligence. Now, we already know that we got, for music, isotope. So you already know that's part of my shish right there. I know, yes, I can use my ears. My nick. I've done 2 albums already for myself. I've mixed multiple songs, hundreds, if not thousands of songs for other artists. 8 hours, I've spent 16 hours, 4 weeks, 3 months on one song. Done that, been there, great. Still sounds, if you go in, later down the line, yeah, it still doesn't sound as good as it could be. At this point, my ears drawn the hell out, not trying to do it. If I can get something, be my assistant, and get me right where I need to be, or get me into a pocket that I feel comfortable with, or get me into a range, I can tweak. That's cut out hours of my time. Time is money. Don't care about everything else. I'm going to show you something. This is some real ish. And this comes from when I was just a graphic designer in Photoshop. And I was dating somebody who was a graphic designer and becoming a web designer. And both of us had an ideal. and both of us did two different ways of doing our businesses. She was a perfectionist. Everything, if she wrote all her code, she didn't really want to do everything in Dreamweaver. She wrote her code, and she was one of the and the design. She'd spend hours upon hours of design. She wouldn't use any external graphics, or as far as like she wouldn't take like libraries and try to merge those libraries together. She was building a lot of their stuff herself or designing a lot of stuff herself, spending hours upon hours on her graphics. Meantime, between time, I was going to like Template Monster, Graphic River, Audio Jungle. I was going everywhere to make my shit faster. I had way more clients, and my bills were getting paid. Meanwhile, between time, she had to move back home. Couldn't survive because she wasn't making enough money. She would have a client, and I would sit there and with a client, I'd be like, yo, you pay all of it up front. Like, I'll do half and half until you know who I am. So the first project, I'll do half and half, where you pay me half up front, and at the end of the project, you pay me the other half. After we do one project together, that's a wrap. Pay me all of it up front. Why? Because the problem is, for you as the artist or designer or developer, is you take half and then you take half. You need to do that when you first start out with your clients. So just to make them feel comfortable, I'll say half and half. By the time we're working on second project, third project, I tell them right now I'll do half and half so you can just see it gets done. But after this, it's all 100% of the price point. Why is it 100% of the price point? Because when it comes time for you to pay the other half, they can delay that for months and months and months. Look, if you pay me all your money up front and you want to delay for 3 months, that's not my problem. That's your delay. As long as I don't have to go over my time, I give you a block of time. And if you go over that time, you got to pay for more blocks. I have everything set up efficiently to be able to do that. And that's how you have to work your businesses. Now, when these companies decide to play Bobo and boom, I got all my money up front. You can do what you want then. So first things first is I come up with a process to speed up my process. So when it comes to audio, mixing, mastering, isotope, ozone, neutron and ozone will speed up the mixing and mastering process. Now, what's music without video, right? You can make all the music in the world, but they either got to go to a platform that only has audio, i.e. Spotify, Amazon Music, Google Play, Beats Music, whatever, right? But when they go there, they'll hear your song, but they may not feel anything other than maybe if they listen to the lyrics, which a lot of lyrics suck so bad nobody even listens anymore. Or you have something visually that can actually impress a story upon them. So what we're talking about is artificial intelligence and graphics. Hold on, I got to do this in another window because one of my clients' things is here. So let me make sure it doesn't show up. Give me 1 second. Okay, I can show this. I can't go down further because there's some stuff I can't let y'all see. But AI designing graphics is crazy. And being able to create scenes that pretty much can be the background for what you're building. This is how I wanted to add. I just add from Midgard. And then it just started developing this Midgard graphic. So, and then I even asked for like some Bitcoin type imagery if I wanted to make my own Bitcoin stuff in the style of Cointelegraph, being able to do that. So just having some way to design and develop just with words and create these visions or visuals, could I not create a channel and be able to put my music to scenes that transitioned and did other things? Could I not use AI to help me build out, like, let's say you've got what, 2 to 3 minutes of a song? Could I make a video that encapsulated, let's say it's 2 or 3 minutes, let's say I just need 20 images. See what I'm saying? How do I generate a story through this AI? And as I get into the beta, hopefully I can get with Wally, which is or Dolly, whatever the hell it is, which is the open AI version of this software. I was able to get into the beta with this. They still got a ways to go. The eyes are like crazy. You can't get two of the same eye in the same place. So you have to still go into Photoshop and kind of swap out an eye so that both of the eyes are the same. So you still got to do some editing work. But what it's able to do, what you can get out of it, like even like textures. Like I'm trying to see if I can get tileable textures out of there. Being able to come up with characters, being able, like the scenes, like just the scenes you can create are crazy. And again, this is all AI driven. All I'm doing is putting words on the screen. The center of the digital universe. Bang. This is what it gave me. So when I tell you, and then, like I said, I take this graphic, I upscale it, or create, the larger version size of this, and then I bring this into another AI called Topaz. They have a video software video enhance AI, so they can scale up your video as far as the size of it, but gigapixel. This software is what I'm using currently to take the images I'm getting from them and being able to scale them up to a larger size. And it cleans up the graphic as well, so that it can actually do some decent stuff. But it can scale 2 times the size, 4 times the size. Like it can scale like redunculous. So now when I'm using this, instead of me paying more for the larger sizes that they give me, I just take the finalized size that I get from them. So let's say I get this image. And if I want to download it, I'll just right? I can just hit save. And then it's going to give me that image. Then I save that image. I bring it into my gigapixel AI, blow it up 2 times, and now I can put this on a t-shirt, or I can put this in the music video. So literally I can now, oh yeah, some of this I can show. Oh, this is a demon Smurf. I said, yo, I want a demon Smurf just to see what it would look like. Because Smurfs are already demons, if y'all didn't know. Right? And then some stuff I'm doing in the style of Naruto. So I'm asking for images and I'm saying, do it in the style of Naruto. So for an anime. So again, you can do some crazy stuff with this stuff. And again, it's going to be open soon. I don't have any more invites that I can give out. I already gave out some. And I have to save some for my team. Because evidently, I gotta pay for them to be able to be part of my network. So I've got a few people that are going to be helping me out with some of the AI stuff. But again, you've got your artificial intelligence being used for the music and the mixing and the mastering side, even the generative side, but the generative side I don't really need. And then you've got the video as far as the graphics that you use for the video, right? And then I showed you the automation that I'm doing for how I now promote, like I upload that stuff online, right? And since I upload this stuff online, now I've got to market it. And that's when N8N comes in And N8N is basically Zapier. It connects to all the things we've talked about. But again, it's a visual way of developing. We're going into visual development because data is data is data. So now if I'm taking graphics that AI is generating to be at the back end of my music, then I scale it up so it lowers my cost basis. Then I automate the fact that I'm marketing, right? So I can go into any of the places that, Twitter, Facebook, and promote on those platforms, YouTube, right? Gathering my data, storing how all these things are doing, storing my data points. So how are we doing this week, this month, whatever? I can now create services. I can scale up my work, but in scaling up my work, what am I also doing? I'm also giving myself a way that I can do this for other people for a lower price point. Because what do all companies need? Marketing services. Now, can I charge cheaper than all the other people that are physically doing all this shit? Hell to the yeah. So, leads me to talking about what I've personally been doing the last few weeks that you haven't seen me. I have been having to relearn a lot of ish. Bubble, which is dope. I had to rebuild my entire website all over again and reload it because I had to buy a template. There we go. And the template I had to purchase was this one. It's like $100 and something bucks. But what I realized was, and this is something I realized with WordPress, right? Because again, I'm leaving WordPress because I'm tired of maintaining code. Like I'm tired. Like WordPress, let's say I have 15 clients. Well, now I have 15 clients. And because I have these 15 clients, all of them are on their own individual servers. All of them have their version of whatever template or whatever. And hopefully I could get them on one template across all the boards. And then I got to update WordPress every X amount of time and make sure it doesn't break a template. This is so much stupid shit you got to deal with. And I'm just tired of it. Like I'm tired of maintaining servers and maintaining code. I'm just done with it. I just want to build something that I can build my marketplaces and build the things that I'm doing. So one of the things I realized with WordPress is you can grab a good template, you can just drag and drop the blocks in, then you can kind of rapidly develop. Now, as I was learning Bubble, I was having to build everything all over again. So let's just say if I have multiple clients, if they needed a login system and pop-ups and all this other stuff, everything that I've done, I now got to do all over again. And I'm not in a position with Bubble to understand how to build my own templates yet so that I can do it more efficiently and effectively. So what you got to do is piggyback off of other companies. So I piggybacked off this one. But it means that because of the way Bubble system is, there's no way for you to just take this template and put it on your existing server, which is so stupid, but I get it. It's because every single one of these things are basically brand new installs. You just can't bring them in. All the functionality that it comes with has to be basically the forefront of how it works. So it's kind of custom code, but at the same time, at least it's custom code that somebody's maintaining. So this way, I don't have to build out these modules. Somebody else can, and I can drag and drop what I need and use it how I need, the way I need. So I did that. I got everything set up. That was yesterday. I finished setting up everything after watching hours of video. Like literally I went through 20 hours of video. Like, hold on. Just so you can see I'm not bullishing. Just so you can see I'm not bullishing. I'm not bullishing. Hey. Let's go to boot camp. Just so you can see I ain't bullishing. Where's the free boot camp? Wait, is there? Wait, hold up. There we go. And then if I go to bootcamp and the casual track, 65%. I've actually done more, but I skimmed through this stuff, but I basically went through all of these videos. So 15 hours, 20 hours. I did this in like two to 3 days. I went through all of these videos to get an understanding of how to use this template system. So I got the template system set in. I'm working on the site now. I'm working on the back end stuff now. I'm going to start gathering the data that I need to be able to launch the data side of the business. I want to start gathering these data points because, again, as the market starts playing the Bobo game, I want to be able to grab in or keep an eye on the things that I want to purchase at the price points I want. And I want alerts and all that stuff. And I want to be able to have people kind of see the moves more transparently on the back end. So, again, I'm using Bubble as the platform because there's nothing else that hooks into N8N that I feel comfortable with. That I think in the next couple of years, I won't have to like redo this all over again. I was hoping it was going to be Webflow. And Webflow, I'm talking to y'all because y'all want some bullish. And Webflow is mad interesting if they get off their ass and actually get this done. Hold on, is it done? Oh. Interesting. This is interesting. Hold on. Something's going on, y'all. See, memberships is okay. No, it was memberships, which isn't ready yet. You have to still join the beta. Yeah, I've joined the beta months ago. It's still not there. And then their logic was supposed to come out. So being able to logically do something, if something happens on the page, do this. Right now, there's no way to do this without using like another plugin and another plugin and another plugin. And while I could potentially do something with N8N, it was too ad hoc-y. I'm trying to learn the data implementation you're talking about here. For me, how I'm doing this is I'm separating a lot of ish. Like my idea is crazy. I believe I need a data warehouse, a place where I can store all my data. Where I'm doing that is because N8N, again, can be used as my automation engine or the logic side of my business, and that it can interact with any other platform. I'm not so worried about the platform itself. I'm worried about me being able to grab my data and push it to whatever platform I want. So let's say if I'm N8N.io. So let's say if I go to features, let's go back to interactions. Right. And then let's go into, this is, this is, let's say, right. So with Bubble, you can control the database, create, update, and get objects out of it. So you can work with the database directly. So same thing if you do with Webflow, you can work with their system directly. So let me go back again. Ooh. See? So you can work directly, create, delete, get all. So you can work with these systems and be able to perform with these applications. If you're using WordPress, again, you can now use WordPress. And you can control you're going to control WordPress. Create, delete, update. So you can use their system. Create, get all, update. So you can work with their data system on the back end. So my thing was, hey, if I have a system where I don't just have the site control my data, I have another platform away from my site that actually controls all my data from all the places where everything's at. And these all are where my data points are. That is me using, and I'll go back to my interactions. That is me using, you can either use Notion, right? You can either use Notion to do that. I'm using Coda. And Coda is basically like using Monday.com. So you can make it into whatever you want. So now all of my data is going to go here, and this data is what's going to actually go to my sites. I'll have a tag or a column in my table that says publish, and then it'll publish it to the website, like publish the website or publish to social media or whatever. You just got to build your businesses. You've got to think of your conceptually, think about what are you doing? Like, how am I doing the things that I'm doing? What is my operations? How do I operate? How do I make my beats? Where do I store my samples? How do I catalog all that? It's about building a catalog. Like, nobody really gets the fundamental premise is, how would you manage your catalog if you were your own label? Because you are at this point, right? I showed you, you're already a label. Y'all are labels. If you go to CD Baby, you're already a label. Music distribution, be everywhere you need to be worldwide. So you're already going to be able to get royalties everywhere. One payment, you're done. You don't have to pay extra money like a DistroKid and none of that shit. Your YouTube plays, like I keep telling y'all, your YouTube data is your YouTube data. That is the most amount of money you're going to get. Let me pull that up. Let me show you what I use Coda for. CODA, right? ToxicHustle Pro, CD Baby data. Now I got to update this. I'm automating this now. I still haven't automated yet, but the data is still the same of what I want to do, right? So now I've got all my CD Baby data in here, and I can tell you where the majority of my year-to-date visibility is from here. This is YouTube content information. If I'm showing you right now, this is the majority of where my visibility is. Why am I not targeting it? Right? So if I have a company like DistroKid telling me that for every song or album or whatever, I got to pay extra to get this right here, y'all out your rabbit ass mind. I'm leaving money on the table. Why am I leaving money on the table in a recession? I've been telling my business partners for years, like plural, hey, y'all need to get up off these other platforms and come over to CD Baby because you need to get all your royalties here. Because my business model changes, right? I can promote you. If you're here and you're getting royalties on YouTube, could I not take your music and put it in something for a client who's on YouTube and you earn money because it's his intro? And what happens if his intro plays 1,000 times a day? Utility is more important than anything else, y'all. Please understand, Michael Jackson understood that. That's why he bought the Beatles catalog and used it for the Nike commercials and made mad guap off of them. Pissed them off. Pissed Paul McCartney off. Pissed off, man. Because he was, oh my God, I need to be utility. And he did exactly that. Went right into freaking utility and ground out with that. Started selling his catalog, but started buying up everybody else's catalog and started using it. And that's why he said, I came out here with half of Sony, owning half of Sony. That's why Mike had to go. Not only did Mike have half of Sony, he had the catalog. And it was being utilized. That's why everybody's selling off their royalties. My ninjas. These people are like, even right now, what's his name? Murder Inc., right? He just sold off his royalties. And I told y'all that they're selling at the wrong time because they can't do nothing with their royalties at this point. They can't do a damn thing. Pull this up. Boom. Oh, oops. Go back. Boom. Who was it? Irv Gotti? I think Irv sold off his royalties. Irv Gotti. Where are you, Irv? I know you sold them off, bruh. I know. There it is. Irv Gotti sold off his royalties so he can make more movies or TV shows. 300 million, y'all. Our entire, if you're a Gen Xer, our entire 2000s is like Murder Inc., MOP, Mobb Deep, Wu-Tang, like that whole freaking Dr. Dre, Eminem, 50 Cent, all of this, that whole timeline. You mean that whole that whole segment of my life was only worth $300 million? Over the long term? Come on, man, that's bullshit. So with everybody selling off their royalties, there's no need for that. Like that's done for them. You don't have to sell off your shit. Like, think about it. You can put your music out, earn your royalties. That royalty goes into a bank account or a PayPal account. You can now put that and trade that and earn interest with it if you become a money market maker, or you can put it in a trading fund like on Fidelity or some other platform. You can put it there and put it into an ETF like the S&P 500, and then just slowly over time, every X amount of time, just keep putting some in, because you can't call the bottom. What you can do is slowly over time, invest over time. Yes, everything's way too high. They need to cut it. So right now we're going to have to watch everything fall. But how do you have cash on hand long-term to buy these, not buy the dip, but to invest over the long term? Because look, unless you're earning revenue and your assets can continue to earn revenue, the fact is that nobody's music will earn the same amount of money in 10 years as it will in the first 16 weeks. It will earn over time, but you got to keep coming up with the new hotness every single time, right? You've got to be relevant every single time. So it's good to figure out how to take your assets and turn them into assets. Earning. That's your next phase. So please think about your businesses. Think about how you want to grow them. Think about how you're going to automate. It's a pain in the ass. Start learning new tech. Start figuring out where we're going. Like I show y'all, like I show you the news. I show you Google. I show you how I search. I show you to fish for yourselves, because at the end of the day, I'm going in a direction that just says, look, I told my business partners, and I told my business partners in early 2000s during the MySpace era. I told my friends in 98, 99 when I was going to New York and trying to, when I was living in New York and I was trying to get into these studios and trying to do all this stuff. And again, I told, like, when I figured out that Pro Tools was basically just a piece of software on an Apple machine, and I was like, wait, Windows has Cakewalk. So what you're saying is everybody's going to be able to have a recording situation at their home. And all you needed to have a studio was a computer. Like take a computer that you would play games on, like so a lot of hard drive space, the decent CPU, a bunch of freaking memory on your board. Make sure your board was good. Make sure you had good power and all that, a good power supply. Make sure you had a decent monitor, and then and of course cooling, and make sure it was nice and cool so it wouldn't blow out on you. Now that machine that you play games on, you could make music on. The same machine that I would use to make a graphic machine to make Photoshop was a great gaming machine as well. Those gaming machines were great production machines. So again, if everybody was going to be able to make music, especially as FL Studio back then, Fruity Loops, was circular navigating the damn globe, I was like, yo, the production game, or me being able to say, hey, as a producer, I have this commodity or this skill set that's going to generate tens of thousands of dollars. Well, shoot, no, it was a race to the bottom, because anybody, as you saturate a market, the price points go down. And us as musicians, we were the first one to see the recession. Why? Look at the supermarkets, or excuse me, look at Walmart, look at Target, and look at the racks and say, hey, let me go in here and look for music. You won't find it, because we were the first ones to lose. We lost shelf space first. We had entire stores just for us. Where are they now? Gone. We had racks in Walmart. Where is that? Gone. Just like the racks for DVDs, just like in the future, the racks for games. Because everything's gone streaming. Have you? And is it done properly? So, y'all, the goal is get your music online, make sure you're getting your royalties, and circulate your music, because now that it's digitally signatured, you can earn. And the one that's giving the most money, i.e. follow the money, the one that's generating the most royalties for me right now is YouTube. So if you're not getting your YouTube royalties off rip, distro kid, cut it out, because unlimited going to Spotify don't mean shit when nobody sees you. And you're not getting paid the way you get paid at YouTube. Sorry. Just not happening. So please, y'all, factor your businesses for scale. Get your price points. Think about $25, $50. What services are you offering? Get your skill set up. Go on YouTube. Create a whole YouTube channel just for a particular niche you want to study. Like I have YouTube channels. I showed you how to do that before. Create a YouTube branch just for seeing tech. I created one just for the 3 a.m. stuff I look at. I created one just for finances and the financial markets. I created one just for what's going on in music and music production. This way I can channel what I look at, or just for tech and research and whatever. Like, especially for automation and desktop automation, workflow automation. Like, learn these things, because there are jobs. Damn it, woman. Didn't I tell you I'm recording? Love my girl. I put you on mute, baby. You don't understand. All right, right? So now, if you got any questions, if there's anything, because one of the things I want to be able to do is just really just, if there's anything that you don't understand and you need some help with it, got any questions, I am definitely here to help out. Just throw them out there. But what I want you to do is just know that you're going to have to really lock in on services. Really lock in. It's unfortunate, but I'm jumping on it. Like mixing, mastering. I'm going to be jumping on 25 here, 50 there, 25 here, 50 there. Yes, you should earn a lot more. But at this point, if you have the automation, why do you need to? Y'all, think about it this way. If I got 4 clients at $25 per client, and I was able to get their stuff mixed and mastered in under an hour and change, and it still sound good, am I not making $25 an hour? See what I'm saying? There you go. That's how I think about it. Like, okay, well, I'm going to work 4 hours today and I'm going to get 4 clients in, and now boom, I just made $100 in a day. That's the low end theory, especially during recession type beats. And you can't go to consumer. Like, it can't be about consumer-ish right now. Consumer is growth companies. Business to business is value propositions. And we all have to be just like every other bank, like every other company or corporation on the planet. You independent straw men, you are nothing more than straw hat Luffy's out here. So all you independent straw hats have to be out here thinking about, how do I service other businesses to survive? Because consumers are out. I, as a consumer, I'm not buying sheesh if it's not for business right now. I'm not going out there buying new flossy-ish or trying to get a new car or trying to get, no. I'm not doing nothing that's going to cause me to have more debt when we're in a cycle that you got to be worried about how much debt you got. In fact, first things first, if you've got credit lines, my ninjas, get rid of them. Start paying down before this stuff keeps going up. We're not done. Inflation ain't going to stop. Won't stop. Can't stop. Right? Like Puffy. So just expect it, that these numbers are going to keep going up, or it stays where it's at, and we ain't got no new jobs out in here. Right? So just think about it that way. Keep safe out on here, out in these streets. I'm about to get myself situated because I'm pretty sure that I'm probably going to lose power if this storm gets bad out here. And it's already thundering. So I don't want this thing to just cut off in case the power fluctuates. So y'all, I appreciate you. I know I haven't been around for a while. It's been a couple weeks. Like I said, I'm going to be finishing off the website as far as being able to have people be able to register and do all that fun stuff. And then be able to start showing you some of the stuff that we're doing and start going into, like, it's showing you how I'm just getting these services done. Like, again, I'm going to be just concentrating on clients and pulling those clients in and generating and doing the work for the clients. And if I have extra work, that goes into a pool and then other people can do it with me. And that's kind of how I'm doing it. So this way, like, my goal is, if I have a system that can just pull in a lot of work, but I can't facilitate all that work, then hey, if I'm showing you all the tools I'm buying and how I'm buying it and how I'm using it and all that stuff, then you get to have the same workflow as I have. And then if you have the same workflow as I have, then boom, you should be able to take care of some of this work and get paid for it as well. So that's what I'm working on, trying to get all of us paid on these streets. So I will be back next week, a little bit more in depth, especially as I'm waiting for the market to turn to the negative side of this game as we get closer to the September dip, because that's going to be it's going to be a little motherfucker. And then we've got our November dip coming around the corner when she come. So just get ready, y'all. The markets are going to look all juicy and shit, but don't get gassed. We are still heading for a lower crypto. We are still looking at lower stock market, because these people can't make no earnings because they don't know how to manufacture shit no more. And yes, the stock market is up. And yes, S&P is down. Well, it looks like it was down. The Russell looks like is up, but that's at the end of trading, it seems, right? Trading's done. Yeah, we're at night. Trading's over. So yeah, it looks like we're done with trading. I'm looking on, I'm on my phone with it. So just understand, y'all, the market looks like it's on a run up, but it's a gas. It's a fake out. Watch in the next couple weeks. Watch as crypto does its bounce right back where it was a couple weeks ago. Right now, I think that is being pumped up because I think people are trying to cover their shorts as far as margin calls. So I think right now people are going to like, somebody pump the market up, which happens at the end of the July run, the 4th of July week. Typically there's a run up and then it crashes right back down the week after. So just get prepared next week. That ain't going to look good. Just get prepared that the stock market, because people get their asses handed to them on the crypto side, are going to be out on the other side. And a lot of these investors that are in crypto right now are already underwater. They don't understand when November hits and they go even further down, we're going to have such a bottoming out effect where people just get crushed. We're going to see Bitcoin drop to 11,000, 7,000, y'all. So I'm not buying crap right now. Hold your horses. Shit's gonna be fun. So y'all, remember, keep safe out here. Watch out for these idiots on the road if you're driving, please, because everybody's shooting, especially if you share the same copper shade as me. We're threats to everybody at this point. So a lot of what I'm doing now is what the Most High told us. And what did the Most High say? In the last days, be not on the road and with child. Basically, stay up off these streets, my ninjas. Be of the world, but not in it. You know, work remote. And then there's going to be wars and rumors of wars. And that everybody's going to look at Babylon and say, oh, how the mighty has fallen and become the habitation of devils. Well, looky at what's going on with Una Sanctum operations out on these streets. So y'all, they have their issues. They don't know how to run no companies. They don't know how to run a country. Unfortunately, if you think you can only do music and that's the only thing you got to do in this life, I'm sad to say you got to do something else, right? Start looking at how you can get into farmland. You don't have to buy farmland, but maybe you can buy shares of meat, right? Buy half of a cow. Buying beef in bulk. Half a cow. How much is it? So if you eat beef, you can buy that. If you want to get into these share farms, remember when you used to be sharecroppers? Huh? Well, now it's digitized. So you don't have to be in the field doing this ish. There's other sites. I'm going to be looking deeper into that's going to be part of the research we do. But y'all can start doing that now. Your food, like shore up your food. What farms are allowing you to buy from them? What farms can you put money with these private farms so that you can get meat shipped directly to you? Right? Or get crops directly to you. How can you take your assets and invest them into other things? i.e., how do you put your money in to make more money? Money makes money. It's not just you making it. Work smart, not hard on these streets. But you still got to work hard. But you got to be smart about it. All right, y'all. I'm going to get my ass up out of here. I got things to do and places to go. Y'all be safe out on these streets, and I'll hit you up next week.